At least they're in. Like, this is the surest in team for the Tigers
that we've had
in the Penny Hardaway era.
Yeah.
Right? Like, yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Just get in and then do something. At a certain point, no matter what your seed is, you're going to have to beat a good team.
Yes.
Like, so either you beat a good team, either you're good enough to beat a good team, or you aren't. And it just matters. The seeding only matters because it determines how good those teams are early on. Are you okay over there?
I just got the weirdest email. Like, the weirdest email.
Is it a
I don't
sale?
think I can even talk about it.
What's going on?
Well, it came to my normal inbox. Not like usually spam stuff ends up in the promotion category on Gmail.
Is it your?
No, it's my personal. It's my personal, and
But
it's
can
not
they still-
spam.
Can they still access it?
I
What's
just
the
would like to make
VPN
it clear,
rules?
I did not subscribe to D World, which I thought was Disney World,
Richard World?
it is not Disney World.
Richard World?
It's not Disney World.
Are there pictures of Richards on your computer?
Would you like to get one of their new 12 casitas? And then their show is
Casitas?
The Devil Wears Nada.
Are you saying cassettes?
No, casitas.
What's a casita?
Like when you go to a tropical resort, you get like a little casita on the beach. It's like a small home.
Okay. All right.
A casita.
So you're going to get a casita.
Okay, let's go to the family friendly. Ask me my song of the day.
No. I want to know more about the casita with the Richards.
The subject line is, people have been asking me about Mexico, so today I come clean. And I was like, what is happening here? And it appears it's like a new hotel property.
With Richards just out?
But I don't think it's for people like me.
What do you mean people like you?
I don't think it's for women.
Oh, it's for dudes who like Richards.
Yeah.
Got you.
I think. I don't think I'm supposed to be here.
I got it.
How did I get on this? Oh my God. Song of the day was You've Got a Friend in Me from Toy Story. I
Which
started
version?
The original,
Okay.
Randy Newman. It was lovely.
Yeah.
It was pure.
Yeah.
Kind of brought a tear to my eye. Much like that email.
Then the Richards.
Wow.
came. What a way to start the show.
What a way to start the day.
That's why you don't check your email right before the show.
You would say don't check your email, period. That's how it works. What's up, everybody? It is Tuesday, February 18th. It is going to be a good day. Jessica Benson with you from the Grind City Media Studios in Memphis, Tennessee. CJ Hurt behind the glass coming up on today's show. We continue onward through the NBA All-Star break, but Mike Wallace is going to join us this morning. We'll catch up with him on his thoughts on NBA All-Star, plus a look ahead at the Grizzlies going into we won't call it second half of the season, because that's not true. The home stretch, the big stretch of the upcoming NBA season. We'll talk a little bit about the Four Nations face-off in hockey. Are we a hockey show now? Perhaps. And then we've got a lot to get into on TV Tuesday. SNL 50 recap, what we are watching. The White Lotus is back. We've got The Pit. Do I have updates for CJ on what's happening in my favorite emergency room? We'll get into all that. It'll be a Tuesday. It'll be fun. You know what we say. Sponsor us, Nike Skims. Sponsor me, Nike Skims. You don't want to be Nike Skims? Come on.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Norris one-handed on the feed.
If you go to a hustle game, you're going to see a very fast-paced game. A lot of action, both offensively, defensively.
Nice rejection right there.
In a great environment at the Landers Center. You could bring family there, kids are running around.
Down the lane and one for Zion Poland.
And then you're going to see a lot of talented basketball players competing at a high level.
At the National Civil Rights Museum, history moves us forward. The question remains, how does history move you?
Keep on talking, marching up to freedom now.
Shinedown, Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum, Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
We did get a new shoe that dropped today that we should all be able to get if we want it.
Fire.
And it's been one people have been waiting for a long, long time.
Yep.
Asia Wilson. What do you guys think about the shoe?
I love it.
It looks great. We see people wearing Jaws. We see a lot of people wearing the GT line. But then also we see a lot of NBA players wearing the Sabrinas.
Sabrina, yeah.
I bet you there's going to be a lot of NBA players wearing that.
I agree with you on that.
Oh, yeah.
The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
Feels great to feel the sunshine. Gotta own the day like it's all mine. Just got paid in his own time. Been working hard, I've been on the grind. I deserve this feeling, having my way. I've been on this healing. This is my day. The sun's out, let's have a little fun now. I wanna let it all out. That's what it's all about. Cause I deserve this feeling, having my way. I deserve this healing. This is my day.
Grind City Media presents The Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt. Live from the Grind City Media Studios on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday to you. As I said in our daily You Know What We Say, today's was Sponsor Us Nike Skims. And in case you missed the big breaking news of the morning, Nike and Skims are partnering, CJ. Listen to this headline. Listen to this. It's not a headline. It's the first graph of the Athletics New York Times article on this matter. Jacob Gallagher said more than 40 years ago, Michael Jordan helped Nike become the name in basketball sneakers. And today, it's betting that Kim Kardashian can help it do the same for women's shapewear. This is a women's line. Sorry, snooze you lose. You're out of the equation. Nike Skims is for women. I'm sorry.
Okay, good. I'm happy. I'm happy for
Thank
you
you.
guys. What exactly is going to be?
I don't know.
Okay, so Skims is just the bodysuit thing, right? Am I
Skims
tripping?
is everything.
Okay, see, I didn't know that.
Skims is shapewear. Yes, you did. I have told you how much I love the Skims.
You have.
Skims are shirts. Skims
Okay.
are skirts. Skims are dresses. I got a
didn't
new
know that-
Skims dress for my
I didn't
birthday.
know they did dresses and skirts.
I waited 45 minutes to go into the Skims store on Fifth Avenue when we were in New York City
Why'd you
over
have to wait?
Christmas because people are obsessed with it.
It was just a
And we just
line
had
to go
yeah,
into
there's
the
a line.
store?
There's a line to go into Nike these days. There's a line to go into Abercrombie. There's a line to go into Skims. There's a
Abercrombie
line
has
to
a
go
line?
in Swarovski. There's
Why
a
is
line to go into
Abercrombie
Louis
have a
Vuitton. There's a line to go into I don't know what else.
There's enough people in this world who can afford Louis Vuitton in
I think
one
they just want to
place?
go in.
Okay.
Oh, there's a line to go into Tiffany's.
Okay. Just go in and do what? Just window shop?
Watch.
Okay.
Look.
All right.
Dream.
Go ahead.
Manifest.
Knock yourself out.
Anyway, Skims has everything. Skims, the recent update I saw from them was that they were going to have shapewear that enhances your booty without you having to get a BBL. That was the new piece of Skims that was coming out. But now you're going to get it with
Y'all
Nike.
gotta stop.
We can't
Y'all
be
have
stopped.
Y'all have got to stop. How would you feel, ladies? We're out and about, and it looks like I got just a chiseled
not my problem.
six-pack.
That's
then
not
you
my
get
problem.
me home, and we in the throes of passion, things start coming off, and I take off my shirt, and out comes the big old belly. How would you feel about that? Right? Like, you don't need to
I
trick
support
us.
people of all sizes.
Absolutely, I do. So, and as somebody who supports, Jessica, I'm the furthest right person on this show. Need I remind you?
Thank you.
As somebody who supports people of all sizes, stop trying to fit a size that you aren't. Stop trying to be a size that you aren't. You're a cone. Stop trying to be a sphere.
Okay.
Like, stop that. Quit
I'm
it.
kind of interested in the big booty underwear.
Why?
Because I'm just curious about it. I did This is TMI. Never mind.
No, you did what?
I was going to say, I saw somebody who I don't know in a store like a week or so ago, and I thought to myself, I wonder if that's real or if there's also those like TikTok leggings.
I do that all the time.
And I was like, she's got a very nice body.
There's no way
But I don't think that it's real based on other proportions.
Right.
So, which is fine. You do you.
Like,
Skims is undefeated. Like, truly, though, I love Skims. I love Skims more than I wish that I did. I buy from them frequently, and now I can't wait for Nike Skims as well. We continue on with the NBA All-Star break. We're back. The NBA is not. How did you spend your Monday evening with no NBA, CJ?
We'll talk about it later in the show, but I caught up on SNL
50.
And I played a little Civ 7, which I guess we'll talk about. Yeah, we do video games and TV, right?
That's fine.
Yeah, so I guess I'll make mention of Civ 7.
Chris played Civ 7 last night, and he was like, you should talk to CJ about Civ 7.
Okay.
One day I'm going to start playing Civ 7, and
because
every night we finish, like, we watch a show, and then he says, I'm going to play my game if that's okay. I'm like, of course it's okay. I'm going to go to bed and read. That's what we do. But
hey,
one
we do
night.
the same thing.
Really? That's so cute.
Or
Happy
she
life.
reads behind me as I play the game. Because it's a real soothing, because the music is a real soothing thing.
No,
you
Civ
turn it down low.
lies. He's been playing Civ 6 to like properly close it out. That's what he keeps saying. He's like, I have to say goodbye to this game before I can start Civ 7.
You can always, it's a completely
The
different
sound of the guns on that game is unbelievable. He's fighting, and I'm like, can you please turn it down? I feel like I'm in the middle of a war zone.
Got you.
Anyway, and then he always comes to bed and he can't fall asleep because he's so jacked up from like saving the world, building communities and such.
If he's fighting, he's not saving the world.
I don't know what he's doing.
Fights. Okay.
All I know is he opened Civ 7 last night and he goes, oh, Harriet Tubman is in the game.
That's who I'm playing as.
Okay, we'll get to it.
Okay,
we'll get to it.
But
the only reason I asked what you were watching, I did watch a little bit of the Duke-Virginia game. Duke beat Virginia 80-62. It was a big Cooper Flagg game, even though Cooper Flagg did get blocked, which was all over my timeline last night. He also had a cool 17 points and a career-high 14 rebounds. He has now reached 500 points, 100 assists, 30 blocks. First player to do that in the ACC in the last 25 years, and also first to reach numbers like those in the first 25 games in the ACC, and one of just a few who have ever done it, period. The last to do it was Markelle Fultz. Dwayne Wade did it. Ben Simmons did it. Cooper Flagg continues to be awesome. But I found myself thinking, like, he's just not hateable enough to fit the Duke archetype. However,
he's good.
I have found a solution to hating Duke again. The White Lotus, which we will further talk about in TV Tuesday.
Duke and White, I love it. Let's go.
There is a whole Duke storyline. It's a Duke, North Carolina. There's a family from North Carolina, and it's about like one brother goes to Duke, the sister went to North Carolina. Where's the third brother gonna go? The brother who went to Duke, I think he might be our new most hateable character on television. And I love a hateable character. There's always one on White Lotus. It's always one like super rich, annoying prototype white dude. And this is the one, and he's obsessed with Duke, and he won't stop talking about it. And I recognized I can hate Duke through the White Lotus, and it can all come back together. And he's played by Patrick Schwarzenegger, Arnold Schwarzenegger's son, who, fun note, was my classmate at USC for a hot second. We never hung out. I didn't really know him. I think he was 2 years younger than me. He was a youth. Catherine Schwarzenegger was at USC at the same time as well. But I can hate Duke through this storyline, and I appreciate that. But Cooper Flagg's too good. He's just too good. Every time I watch him, I'm like, oh, God.
Oh, my goodness. The way that he can handle the ball and get his shot while also handling the ball and getting somebody else's shot, like that's tantalizing, man. I can't hate somebody like that. Also, he's not tripping anybody.
He's not.
Right? He's not kicking anybody.
No.
He's not
He's
doing
not even, like, flicking?
No, he's not being annoying.
Like, I need him to poke someone in an eye.
Jay Williams was annoying at Duke, right? Like,
yes.
I hated him very much so. Remember when he had the ball and he was just shoving it in dude's face until he ended up retaliating, knocking him into the scorer's table. Was like, well, what did I do? Cooper Flagg's not doing any of that. He's just out there hooping, and he's hooping at a very, very high level. I sadly, I looked forward. One of the things I looked forward to the most this season was hating Cooper Flagg for no damn reason.
And I haven't been able to find a reason to.
No reason to hate him.
I'm grasping at White Lotus storylines to try to find workaround ways to really hate Duke once again.
Oh, no, I still hate Duke. I don't hate him.
Yeah, but he's like the figure of Duke at this moment.
I think about him. Is he? Is it not still Coach K?
No.
Every time I think of Duke, it's like, oh, Coach K is somewhere around here smiling somewhere, and I don't like that. Wipe that
forever ambassador
wipe
of
that
Duke.
stupid
That's
ass
fair.
grin off
Okay.
your face, Coach K. Like that's what I think whenever I see Duke play. With all due respect to Coach K, legend of the game, just dislike him because like Duke. But yeah, Cooper Flagg. It's like, oh, I can see how this would translate to the next level.
Oh, I'm constantly looking for a reason to say, it's going to take him some time. It's not going to work.
Somebody's going to.
That's what everyone with that block last night, they're like, oh, hole in his game. He can get stuffed at the rim once. Okay.
It will take him some time. He's 19, 20 years old. He's got to get stronger. But once that happens, it's clear. Okay, whatever this skill set is, somebody in the NBA, a lot of people in the NBA would love to have it on their roster.
We'll get more into NBA, the fallout from NBA All-Star, because that's all anybody wanted to talk about yesterday. God forbid. NBA All-Star lost the PR war once again. And they mostly lost it to hockey, which is an insane thing for me to say, but it is the truth. And I have a hockey game circled on my schedule on Thursday because I will make sure that I am seated for USA versus Canada in the Four Nations face-off. It is not tonight. I don't know what our graphic is talking about. It is on Thursday.
Wait, it's not tonight?
No, it's Thursday.
Yeah, my fault.
You can't be a hockey fan if you think the game is tonight.
Well, I'm not a hockey fan. You should have told me when it was.
I actually changed it in the rundown, but it's okay. It
Change what?
Moved.
Oh.
I saw that you put that it was tonight, and I was like, tomorrow.
Wait, the rundown?
Yeah, rundown.
Jacob should have saw that.
It's okay. It's teamwork.
Okay.
We're all here. It doesn't matter. I'm already excited. Okay, so we're both wrong. It's Thursday.
Whatever.
I thought today was
She
Wednesday.
said Thursday.
Time
You
makes
said
no
Thursday.
sense anymore. It is Thursday. But I am very excited for that. And I think that's such a win for the NHL and hockey in general. I was watching Get Up on ESPN this morning, and they even had PK Subban on off the top to talk about hockey in February. And Canada beat Finland last night to secure their place in the championship game. We talked about the first go-around between Team USA and Canada from over the weekend, where there were 3 fights in the first 9 seconds of action, which was awesome. And there continues to be bad blood. It always means more when it is country versus country. We haven't seen a lot of USA versus Canada on the rink, like finals matches. There have been plenty of like events that have featured those teams, but when it actually means something for a final, for a championship, the last time that we had it was the 2010 Olympics. Canada won gold. Canada beat the US in the last 2 championship matchups that they've had in the Olympics, or gold medal matchups it would be, in 2010, 2002. The only time the USA has beaten Canada as of recently in one of these games, 1996 World Cup final. And now we get it in the Four Nations face-off, which props to the NHL for creating a system that provides intrigue and actual interest. Shout out to the current happenings between the United States and Canada that adds a little fire to all of this. We will see if the Canadian fans once again politely boo the national anthem.
Is it not here? Is it all in? Is here?
It is, but they still play the Canadian. Like there are still
Canadian
fans.
I don't think
Don't you
Canada
think?
has the courage to boo
I think
the
they do.
national anthem on American
they do.
soil. Can you imagine the tariffs we'd levy on them for doing that? The disrespect? Are you kidding me?
I think they would.
It's
in
Boston?
Boston. It's in Boston.
In Boston?
It's our new Tea Party.
Where it all started? In Boston?
In the origins.
Yeah, no, they can't be booing the national anthem in Boston.
I think they're going to boo it, and then I think they're going to fight again.
Apparently, the kerfuffle was in part because of the booing of the national anthem?
Yeah. I mean, I think it just adds to it.
Okay.
Like, they care.
All right.
It adds to it. People love to say, if they're going to boo our anthem, I'm going to fight them too. Okay, whatever. It's hockey. First of all, hockey players are always looking for a reason to fight. If there is one sport where the players actually want to fight, I think it's hockey.
Football.
Okay.
Hockey and football. But two of the two more physical
Exactly.
sports.
You're also in pads. It's a little bit different than just swinging punches, bare-armed and bare-faced and whatnot. But we will see what happens. I will be seated. And these were the quotes that helped solidify my interest in this game. They are saying that it is bigger than the Stanley Cup. U.S. center Jack Eichel said, It's a game 7, right? I love a game 7. It's for everything. You're going to see desperate hockey. You're going to see everything you saw in the first game and more. USA head coach Mike Sullivan said, I think it could inspire another generation of young players to want to play the game. Canada head coach John Cooper said hockey is in a better place because that first game happened. In comparison, Draymond Green kept telling us that the NBA All-Star Game sucked. We've got to get the spin on correctly. There has to be something more fun.
You can't spin it.
It's just real.
You can't spin it when they don't care.
Yeah.
Nobody cares in the NBA. They don't. Everything you said right there is coming from people who care about what's going to happen in this game. The players don't care.
But they've driven the care.
Draymond Green can complain all he wants to. Why are we even talking about him like he
He's
matters?
the big character
I
over
don't
the
know.
weekend.
Like it's a bunch of characters over in the NBA as it pertains to All-Star Weekend, and I think as it pertains to the game itself, right? People in the NBA, the ones who played it from past generations, the ones who are in charge of telling the stories of this generation, whomever they may be, love to tell everybody how bad the product is. They can't wait to get in front of a microphone and say, this is garbage, this is awful, this is bad. Chuck, Kenny, Shaq, Draymond, the list goes on. Gilbert Arenas, the list goes on and on. It's full of dudes who love to tell you how bad the game is right now and how bad the game was back then also. It's a never-ending onslaught of basketball is bad. When you look at other sports, they aren't doing that to themselves.
Yeah.
They aren't. So as it pertains to this, everybody's excited about this because
they care.
They care. That's it. There's no real
and
reason
they think it's
outside of
awesome,
that.
and they want to tell you that it's awesome because, God forbid, they want more eyeballs on it. The first game between USA and Canada pulled 4.4 million viewers, which is the most watched hockey event since the Stanley Cup final telecast in 2019. So people watched. People saw those fights pop off, and they're like me. That's what my experience was on Saturday. Saw the fights on social media, decided I wanted to watch Four Nations face off, and next thing I knew, I was alternating between NBA All-Star Saturday night and the game between USA and Canada. And it was a fun experience. I do think it was interesting. One of the clips that crossed my timeline yesterday, that Netflix documentary of the USA men's basketball team with their Olympic journey is coming out, and you know my thoughts on documentaries that come out less than a year.
It's not just U.S. basketball, right? It's the stars of the Olympics, isn't it?
Yes.
It's Wemby, it's Bron, KD, and it's a couple of other international dudes.
It came out overnight.
Okay. I feel like it's. I don't think it's.
Is it not? I thought it was just.
Okay.
It's called Court of Gold.
It's everybody. It's everybody. At the Paris Olympics. Yeah.
Okay, so it's just the journey. Okay, United States, France, Serbia, and Canada.
There we go.
Follows the four of the world's best teams. The clip that was going around was Kevin Durant, like crying, talking about how much it means to play in the Olympics. And it was very sweet. Like, KD got emotional talking about where he come from, what the game has given to him, how much it matters to see people who give everything for the opportunity to go watch these teams play at the Olympics. And it was a very cool, like, moment of vulnerability from Kevin Durant. And no one's ever going to question, like, KD just loves to play basketball. He's a true hooper. He always talks about how much he loves it. He was getting back and forth with people about All-Star Weekend yesterday as well. But I just thought the contradiction of that clip with how much people want to talk about how little they care about All-Star Weekend. And I'm not trying to, the Olympics and All-Star is different, but I do think meddled in the middle there is this Four Nations face-off concept where they have made they've taken away the traditional All-Star format with the NHL and they have made it country versus country. And that always adds something, or at least I think, I would imagine it would have to add something if that's the direction that you were going.
It's not too long ago we didn't care about the Olympics either. Right?
That's not true.
It is true.
I've always cared about the Olympics.
It's not that long ago where U.S. basketball did not care about international competition, a World Cup or the Olympics. That's how you end up struggling to find players to go over there to play in the Olympics, right? The Redeem Team was a thing for a reason.
Yeah.
Team USA was nonchalant about basketball at the international level for 8 years, almost a decade. And then the Redeem Team happens, and now again it's cool to play international basketball for Team USA, because at some point the players in charge, because that's who's in charge of this, they decided to care about it. And you get the moment where Kevin Durant is tearing up, caring about what happens at the Olympics.
Yeah.
Whereas 2002, you think Allen Iverson, Stephon Marbury, you think Carmelo or LeBron or
Crying
Dwayne Wade
about.
were caring like that? No. I say all that to say they found a way to make those dudes care all of a sudden.
Yes.
Something happened and the players decided to take accountability and care. That's the only thing that can save NBA All-Star and make it more interesting. Is if something happens and those players, the ones participating in it, decide to care. You can make it whatever you want to make it. You can go world versus USA if you want to. You can go 5-6 different nations if you want to. You can keep it like this. You can go back to what it was in the 80s and the 90s. All of that is for naught if the dudes who are all-stars don't look themselves in the mirror when they get up that day and say, you know what? I care whether or not I win this game. That's it.
Yeah.
And if they aren't going to care, there's nothing you can do to save it. We can all just stop trying to figure out how to save it and just accept it for what it is. F up. Like sometimes you got to look at family members and be like, hey, we tried to help you too much. You're an F up. Leave you alone. You're good.
All right, we'll talk with Mike Wallace about it after a break. We'll also chat about Jaren Jackson Jr., Zach Edey, Jalen Wells' appearances at All-Star Weekend, and looking ahead at the rest of the Memphis Grizzlies season. That's when we come back.
Grizz Nation gets set for tip-off 1 hour before every Grizzlies home game with the warm-up show. Get the latest news, notes, and analysis live from courtside at FedEx Forum.
This team is doing everything that Taylor Jenkins and his coaching staff envisioned it could do.
Join me, Lang Whitaker, along with Michael Wallace, Jessica Benson, and other personalities from Grind City Media, Memphis, and around the NBA. 1 hour before every home game, live at Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
Our fans have a huge impact on our ability to play to the level that we're striving for.
Drop off, Durant. Oh! Well, you wanted home crowd involvement.
I love those moments where you see our guys engaging in the fans and the fans just get pumped up.
They are standing in FedEx Forum.
I would hate to be on the other side with the opposition when FedEx Forum's rolling. That's such an unbelievable relationship that our group has with our fans.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Anticipate each challenge. Make a quick response. Capitalize on every opportunity. And win. Greatness won't wait. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
It's your turn to drive into luxury at Southland Casino Hotel. Join us on Saturdays to win your share of up to $1 million in free play and prizes. And don't miss the chance to take home luxury itself during the grand finale drawings. Drive off in a 2025 Land Rover on February 1st or a 2025 Range Rover on March 1st. 2 vehicles, 2 finales, 1 million ways to enjoy luxury only at Southland Casino Hotel. Must be 21 or up. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing compares to catching your Grizzlies IRL. And that all starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight. Put that jersey collection to use for the next game and get Grizzlies tickets at Ticketmaster. Whether they're here at FedEx Forum or on the road, comes to scoring tickets. And there's no better brag than saying you saw it live.
Are you aware of the story of Larry Brown and John Calipari coming to see you at an AAU tournament?
I knew Coach Calipari was in the crowd. I had this incredible game. I had maybe 17 dunks in the first half or something. One of my guys was like, "Yeah, I think Coach Calipari was speaking with one of the NBA scouts, and they're saying, yeah, you're not going to go to college, bro. You're going straight to the league." I was like, "That's the plan, but if I don't, I definitely want to go to Memphis," and that's how I went down.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Tuesday. That means it's time to catch up with Grind City Media senior editor Mike Wallace. Mike, how are you doing this morning?
That's good. Thank you. Man, that's one of my favorite, I don't want to say street level, but that's one of my favorite Grizzly shirts right there. That design, because you got the stained glass like it's in church, and then you got the gritty of the, I mean, it's just, it's a lot going on now.
That I can never do, so I'm not going to try to do it.
Yeah.
My bum middle finger gets stuck because it has screws in it.
Yeah.
So I'm never really able to cross those.
You've overused the middle finger?
Yeah.
I got you.
It's tough. It was a tough 3-on-3 basketball. I've had 2 terrible 3-on-3 basketball injuries. I never thought about the fact that my middle finger was also a 3-on-3. I'm never playing 3-on-3
What's
again.
wrong with the other middle finger? You got 2 middle fingers.
Oh, yeah.
You can throw it up on
You know what? That one actually doesn't really do it
doesn't
either.
and I'm looking at you try and cross it. Are you double jointed in your index? Because it looks like it's finna pop out. Okay.
Maybe that's the issue all along. Who knows? But this is as far down as my middle finger goes. So that's always a fun little. That's why it's got to stay up all the time. I would never throw the middle finger your way, Mike. We appreciate you being here on this All-Star Break Tuesday.
What a segue.
What a segue. You know, we're back. We're so back. We're at our peak of our game as we enter the home stretch of the season. Did you watch any of NBA All-Star, or were you like CJ and refused to even turn it on and entertain the notion?
You say refuse like I was like, NBA All-Stars on. I'm not
Oh my God.
watching.
When Gary said that he also didn't watch NBA All-Star yesterday, you gave him like a 3-minute standing ovation.
Yeah, first off, I'm standing anyway.
Exactly.
First off. Second off, it's not like I saw it on. I was like, no, I'm not going to watch it. I'm just not going to
What's the difference?
That there's no malice in my heart.
Okay. It's
Like,
just
I'm not
agnostic.
Angry. I'm not angry at it. It's just like, why would I watch something that's
almost
bad?
even worse.
We know it's bad. We know what's going to happen. So why would I even sit down and watch?
You like the players don't care.
Exactly.
Do you care enough to watch, Mike?
Well, I didn't think that it was bad. I thought that it was actually some encouraging basketball at times. I thought that it was compelling. I thought all of the games, or most of the games, when they went to that Elam score was were competitive, right? I thought they got that part of it right. So, and I did watch. I consumed all 3 days of it. I consumed the Rising Stars Challenge on Friday, the All-Star Saturday night stuff on Saturday, and then obviously Sunday's tournament games, right? And I thought the NBA and I thought TNT in a lot of ways got in their own way because they didn't trust that the product was going to be better and compelling, the ultimate product of the games, because I thought they got all of those other elements inside their own way. And then, when you're watching the broadcast and you have everybody killing it and railing on it and all of that, I don't think that that's necessarily helpful either. So it's almost like, eliminate some of this other stuff, but you got to put the other stuff there just in case the product is awful. And the product actually wasn't awful. So, I wasn't look the Rising Stars Challenge. I thought that it was good. I thought you saw some of the young stars and you saw some of these guys emerge that you hadn't had a chance to see a lot of. I thought Saturday night, for whatever reason, Matt McClung, for whatever he is a compelling dunker. Like, he is an entertaining dude to watch because you're wondering what's going to happen next. And I thought that was okay. And then I thought the Sunday stuff, I thought it was okay. I just thought all the extra advertising and all the extra hoop pomp and circumstances, I thought that was over the top.
Mike, the NBA has, and I think it's an issue. I might be wrong. I'm not wrong. I'm right. The NBA has an issue with players, current and former, and the people they trust to tell the stories of now, just taking shots at one another for I don't know what the reason is. So you'll have a player say that, hey, dudes in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s were plumbers. That basketball wasn't good. The basketball era I played in is good. And then you have those dudes from the 70s and 80s and 90s saying, hey, this soft ass such and such ain't real basketball. It's terrible. They couldn't have made it in our era. And then you've got people like the TNT crew who are just making a mockery of the game at every given turn because they find, hey, to get eyeballs on this, we need to be entertaining, not necessarily careful or caring about the stories that we tell and how we're telling them. Can the NBA do anything to fix that? Because that seems to be a real driver of what's going on right now. It's just cool to take shots at basketball. You just pick the era of basketball you want to take shots at, and you just take the shots at. Is there something that the NBA can do to stop that or curb that some?
Listen to Kevin Durant. I thought he was the voice of reason, with his tweets and with his comments all weekend. I mean, he came out and said, look, everybody wants something to complain about or debate about or whatever. And, everything is wrong with every era of basketball when, that's not the case. I think they've created this WWE drama around it, right? Where at least that we know that's manufactured, right? They try to come across as authentic with what they're doing with the NBA product. And I think that is disingenuous, really. I mean, yes, Chuck, Ernie, EJ, Chuck, and Kenny and Shaq are absolutely entertaining to watch. I don't know if I want to see them for 4 or 3 straight hours during a basketball game do that. It's good when you have breaks and it's halftime and pregame or postgame because then you know what to expect. I don't need to hear their banter throughout a game, and I don't need to hear Reggie Miller being antagonistic or condescending, throughout an entire broadcast. The Draymond Green stuff is what it is. I take what he says with a grain of salt, but I don't know if the NBA can do much about it because they created this bed, and it's almost like, the league keeps throwing these embers into the fire, you know what I mean, to see if it can, control it, and it can't. The product is actually the games, the basketball itself is actually good. I think more tweak is needed, and I think once you get to USA versus the world, then you can really see, okay, do these guys really care? Because I have a sense that the USA team will have an ego check if they go up against the world roster, because I think the world has caught up with the USA players. And, I think that's the only other tweak that they can make that will make it a little bit more compelling and just get rid of all of the other stuff. Kevin Hart is funny. I didn't need him for, I didn't need the Rucker aspect.
It feels, didn't watch it.
Yeah.
Sure as hell feels like it was a bit of overkill on the entertainment side of things.
Yes, I think Mike put it in a good way of it was almost like they stuffed it with entertainment, not trusting that the product. They spent all week talking about there were going to be sit-down meetings with the players to take this as seriously as possible. It was crucial that the players took these games seriously this year. And like you said, with the USA versus the world, an ego check type thing, I thought we saw that too with the OGs versus the young guns. Like the OG team didn't want to lose to the young guys, and you saw some extra effort in making sure that they made it out of that round. But also this matter of asking the players to take it seriously, and then the broadcast being a completely unserious mess, like between infinite Kevin Hart and Mr. Beast. And if I have to hear Shaq talk about Bol Bol, I love Bol Bol. But now between the Grizzlies and the Suns game, going into the break, when Bol Bol starts, and Shaq comparing Victor Wembanyama to saying he's no Bol Bol, I'm like, oh my God, this is just making me as a viewer hate this experience. And that's never a good formula in trying to get people to come back. Obviously, this was the end for TNT. What a way to go out. Next year, it'll be in a new arena. It'll be the first time Intuit Dome hosts the All-Star Weekend. It's on NBC next year. Is that correct? Am I getting that right ahead of time?
I believe so.
I believe so. So it'll be a new broadcast, an old broadcast brought back into the new 2026 form of whatever they will make it. It is an opportunity to start fresh in a certain way. Do you think there's any real legs to this? NBA players really do want to do a one-on-one format like we saw with the women's players at the Unrivaled, that's the 3-on-3 league taking place in Miami. They took a break from the 3-on-3. It returns tonight. But they did this 1v1 tournament that Nafisa Collier ends up winning, and there was one major game where Nafisa Collier shuts out Breanna Stewart, one of the biggest names in the sport, and it's this giant moment where the turnaround is, could an NBA player if you tried to do a matching caliber, would an NBA player's ego be able to take getting swept by a lesser player? I love the thought of it. I'm just not sure we actually see it.
Did Stewie get swept twice? I thought it was Edwards that swept her.
Oh yeah, it was.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Sorry, Aaliyah Edwards.
Yeah, I do think that there's a group of NBA players that will go all in, but I don't think it will be the ones that we absolutely want to see. I know Jaren came out and said, "Hey, let's do it."
Yeah.
I'm in, count me in. But I don't know if I don't know if I would trust. It's just like with the dunk contest. Like everyone wants to. And Ja stepped up and again, we'll be talking about this on Grizzbeat this week. Was he teasing us of what's to come, or was he just simply trolling us all over again? With this, hey, Matt McClung is making me think about dunking again. Like, yeah, it's good to try to throw this out there and get people talking about it, but are you really interested in putting your creativity on the line? And a lot of people aren't. You know what I mean? A lot of these established superstars aren't. And you got to look at it historically. The one-on-one would be fantastic if they do it. But, I don't know if they would do it. I don't believe that they would do it. Kevin Durant, I think he would do it, right? And you've seen certain guys kind of do it, and they had it on the periphery of an All-Star weekend a couple years ago where guys were out there outside playing one-on-one. But I don't think they would do it under the biggest lights and with all unless there was like $1 million incentive, right? And you have a tournament and you say, okay, the winner gets this amount of money. Then you might have some more, middle tier guys want to do it. But I can't foresee any of the top 10 guys in the NBA putting their name in a hat for a one-on-one tournament. They just, there's no upside to it. Everybody already has a shoe deal. Everybody is already making $40 to $50 to $60 million a year, and everybody has their own brand. What more incentive do they need to do those kind of extra things? In the 80s, those guys didn't have those things. The 90s, they didn't have them. Now everyone has those things, and I don't think there's any incentive there.
What did you make of LeBron not even putting on the uniform for the group photo, and the notion of understanding that he was probably dealing with that foot soreness well throughout the weekend, waiting up until the very last minute to pull out? There's no opportunity for another player. A lot of people pointed out the perhaps deservedness of Norman Powell, who easily could have made a case for an all-star campaign this season. And instead, the conversation becomes LeBron pulls out, can't even put the jersey on to take the picture, and is just there in street clothes amongst the other best of the older generation that's kind of on its way out.
And you know what? And correct me if I'm wrong, because I didn't do as much research into this part of it, but Anthony Edwards did the same thing, right? Like
It seems like he just didn't do it in the press conference before. It became did he have groin soreness or a cold? There was conflicting reporting, but yes.
It was a late development, right? Because neither one of them had a chance or gave the league a chance to have an injury replacement for them, right? So there were two guys that took it upon themselves that pretty much knew going into the weekend that they weren't going to participate, right? And maybe, you go to San Francisco the day before you get a cold and then you say, I'm not going to play. Like, I don't know if I buy that part of it. And then when you talk about what LeBron was doing, like, he was going to get grandfathered in no matter what. It's not like he wasn't going to be able to participate or do anything that he wanted to do. I do think that he was entitled. He did an entitlement type thing. And he said, look, nobody else in the league has the kind of power I have. I'm just going to show up and be on my own agenda. And there was a selfishness to that. But I also think it's an entitlement that he would get that pass when a lot of other guys will not get to be able to do that. Again, it speaks to it's all about meanness of where the NBA is right now, whether it's the trade deadline, free agency, how these teams are going about their business to the All-Star weekend. There's a lot of selfishness when it comes to it's all about me more so than the product at large.
I thought there was a lot of selflessness from Jaren Jackson Jr. And he talked yesterday about you couldn't ask for a better ambassador for the sport, for Memphis, for his teammates, for his growing place in the fashion world. Like, he just gets it. Every interview that he does is really nice to listen to. He understood how the gratitude that you can show of being at something like All-Star Weekend, the rare air of being a part of it. It's his second one. Talked about hoping to be a part of many. Said, hell, he would do the one-on-one, but would also play soccer at an All-Star Weekend if that was asked of him. It just felt like he had the right answers for everything. And if you're the Memphis Grizzlies, to have that representation as we approach this next part of the season, if you have followed the Grizzlies, you understand that Jaren has been one of, if not the most important reason for the team's ultimate success and holding on to that 2 seed in the West so far. But I felt like this weekend was yet another opportunity for the NBA at large to get a better idea of what Jaren means, not just from on-court play, but perhaps as a true future leader within the entirety of the league.
Yes, and it was good to see that on display globally, because we've seen it locally all season long. And it's not like Jaren wasn't this before now. It's amplified now. It's that, he's taking more initiative to be this ambassador, to be this leader, to be this support system. He doesn't make it all about him. You used a great word, selflessness. and he understands and appreciates the moment and the magnitude of what All-Star Weekend represents. And he's doing everything right. Some guys can do it, and some guys can put on an act and make you feel like, hey, they get it in this moment, and then the camera goes off, and then they're, something else personality-wise. But what you see in Jaren when the camera's on is the same thing you see when the camera's off with Jaren. And you just love his authenticity this year and the way he's going about, maturing into this role. And you're right. I really will say, like, if the Grizzlies could figure out how to get over the top again on a more regular basis against some of these better teams, and you would be hearing Jaren's name in the MVP discussion a lot more, because where the Grizzlies are positioned second in the West, most competitive conference of the two right now, and they're right there at number 2. With where they are and what they're positioned to do, you have to look around and say, okay, well, who's been the constant on this team to get them here? And it's Jaren Jackson Jr. And like I said, the Grizzlies can win a few more of these games against these elite level competition. Jaren would be an MVP and MVP, maybe a 4th, 5th, 6th guy in that balloting, but he certainly would get his name in more spotlight when it comes to that.
I think he was at 8th on the most recent MVP ladder. So there is some energy there that's starting to occur. As for the Grizzlies, went into the All-Star break with another disappointing loss to a contending team in the Western Conference, which has been a storyline of the not first half, but I don't know the exact fractions of the way, the pre-All-Star part of the season, pre-All-Star, post-All-Star. And as we go into post-All-Star, Mike, what is the biggest storyline for the Grizzlies as games pick back up later this week?
Can they win the big games, right? Is this record empty calories, or is it a legitimate contender that we're seeing, right? Because what we do know is that they're taking care of business against the teams 500 and below, right? But they're somewhere around 10 and 14 against the top, teams in the West that that have 500 or better records, right? We know what they have been against Houston. We know what they've been so far against Oklahoma City. They split with Denver with Jokic not available from that standpoint. We've seen what they are against the Lakers. We've seen what they are against the Clippers, right? They're combined 1-4 against the LA contingent, right? And they're combined 1-6 or 1-5 against OKC and Houston. So, it's one of those things where they're going to have to, because of the way the bracket is going to line up, you're going to face one of these teams that you've struggled with so far to this point. Can you beat these type of teams to give yourself, number one, a blueprint that you could take into a postseason series? And number two, just from a confidence level, are you really there? And I think that's the biggest question facing the Grizzlies as they head into the stretch run, is that, okay, our record cosmetically looks great, but when you peel it back, are we really ready to be the contenders that our record suggests that we should be? We've been number 2 twice before now, and we saw that those number 2s, you can dismiss it for injuries once it got to the playoffs or immaturity, but there are no excuses now. You have your big 3. Can Ja Morant can he play consistently down the stretch, and can they get to that status where they are a true number 2 seed going into the conference playoffs? We'll see where they are.
It's going to be hard to hold on to. Just a half-game lead on the Nuggets. It is one of the most exciting races in the NBA coming out of the All-Star break, is who will get the number 2 seed. And like we said, the evolution of Jaren has been critical for this group's success. But I've always been of the belief that the ceiling goes as high as Ja Morant takes them. Like, Ja being great will significantly help the Grizzlies' quest for not just a 2 seed, but making an actual run at an NBA Finals appearance. And really, like, the Grizzlies' big 3, they all have to be great. Ja, Jaren, Desmond Bane. And then where we fill out the rest of the way is something that intrigues me. Do we see a rotation shortening from the Grizzlies? What does a top 7 look like versus a top 10? Who is the odd man out? Because when you just start going down the list, this is an activity that happens constantly. I'll be out with friends, and they're like, well, who's your solid Grizzlies rotation going into the playoffs? And you start naming names, and you're very quickly up to 10 players. And so it becomes a difficult thing to look at who gets cut from that. Do you envision an early shortening of that rotation? Is this something we see maybe when we get closer to April? Or could you envision a world where it never gets shortened and we're having these conversations for nothing?
I think it will. I don't think it will get shortened, just because the way that these things are going right now, and the maintenance that you're having to do with certain guys, either coming off of injuries or trying to preserve them, there's always going to be one guy out. So instead of having to play 11 or 10, like, you're always going to have that 9 to 10 man rotation. Like, there are not too many. You're going to have to get Scottie Pippen would be the odd man out. And I just think he would be theoretically, if you knew that you can play Ja Morant, 8 games out of every 10. Like if you knew Ja Morant was going to be available, you would get less minutes from Scottie Pippen in that situation. He would be the odd man out. But because of, again, Vince Williams Jr., you're having to work his way back. Ja Morant has had some issues where sustaining, consistent availability has been a challenge. You're going to see 10. You just are, because Santi's going to play. Brandon Clark gives you a changeup in the big man rotation. Santi Aldama and Luke Kennard are going to get their minutes from that standpoint. And Gigi and Vince, he likes Gigi Jackson and Vince Williams Jr. You can't sit him down if he's available. So, where do you cut from that standpoint? Those guys are going to be new.
Mike, thanks as always. We'll see you on.
Thank you, guys.
You're on the road. Enjoy your trip.
Yeah. I come in today, so I'll see you guys in the office in a few, and then on the trip, tomorrow and for the rest of the week from there.
All right. We'll see you later, Mike. Thanks.
All right.
Grizzlies Pacers pick back up on Thursday, February 20th. The NBA returns on Wednesday, February 19th, because they have the rescheduled Lakers Hornets game. Is the first game back after the LA Fires canceled a couple of those games for the LA team. So that will be the only game on Wednesday, and then everything gets back going on Thursday. CJ, I can't wait for your show on Tubi.
Yeah, it'll be me
You're
and
killing
Devin.
it in the chat.
It'll be me and Devin. We're talking about Anthony Edwards
These are the things
pulling out
people
last
miss
minute.
if they're not live.
Talking about how there's never been a question about his ability to finish. He's going to finish.
We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back.
From what I hear, I bet he strokes from deep.
We're going to be back, and we're going to talk about all that and more.
We're going to talk about Anthony Edwards pulling out
I
last
don't think so.
minute.
I think we're moving on from Anthony Edwards. We'll talk a little Tigers. We'll talk TV Tuesday when we come back.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Memphis Cat is back with his Heaven on Earth tour.
I tried to be incognito, but thanks to Shannon Sharp's loud mouth, the gig is up.
February 22nd in the FedEx Forum.
In my spare time, I infiltrate the Illuminati. Look for their secrets. Run back. Tell y'all.
Don't miss this year's most talked about comedy icon live. He's back with brand new material, an unmatched wit, and an electrifying performance. Get tickets at Ticketmaster.com.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzly stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
They say main event Jey Uso is going to open the show. So they said they're starting to hear rumbles around the plaza level of Jey Uso. They're getting the crowd together to build up the main event Jey Uso entrance. Hey,
See, I can do it.
Hey, 15,000 people together yeeting in unison, 5-star. They are yeeting together.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
We touched on this earlier, the panel here, about what really has been the mainstay of the Grizzlies, and that's Jaren Jackson Jr. Trip has just been awesome.
He's posting guys up. He's stronger than he's ever been. He's physical, and he's scoring all type of ways.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
It would be at the book fair and everything. And you
I know exactly what you're talking about, and I cannot for the life of me come up with it. What was a magazine for kids that was like National Geographic, but it wasn't, and it was books about different animals?
Yeah. Because I feel like, anyway,
There were also those giant books. They were like really thin. I remember the covers were really thin. And I keep wanting to say it was like it's not the investigative series.
Chad, help us out.
And I can
don't
see,
feel like
wasn't there a TV show too?
It's an infomercial. It was a commercial. It was an infomercial
there was a song that I can hear, but I can't grasp to sing it aloud.
And they didn't have all of the animals. It was enough for like a year, maybe 13 months with the bonus elephant edition, right? Because wasn't the elephant edition a bonus? And I feel all that to
really
say,
bugging me.
That's how I learned. I think about humpback whales. I think they had zoo books.
Zoo books.
My God.
Thank you.
Shout out Karen in the chat. Shout
Zoo
out Ian the kid.
Oh my God,
and Jacob. Zoo books.
For the
Zoo books.
life of me.
I think they did a humpback whale one. Either way it goes, yes, I was correct. Humpback whale throats, while they're huge animals, their throats are only the size of a fist, so they can't swallow us.
I hate you.
What? We're talking about something that actually happened.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it more on WTF.
I can't wait. I can't wait. Did you see, I don't know if we'll get to it in WTF, did you see there was a woman who was killed by a hippo on a safari?
Well.
Like a horrifying story.
Okay.
Her husband is suing the
Did
whatever
they get too close?
Yes, and they left them.
What do you
the
mean they
tour
left them?
guides left the group close to the hippo. So the tour guides have the guns, which I don't think
So
if a
they're
hippo's
on
charging
foot?
you. They're on foot.
What the hell is wrong
Literally
with them?
on foot.
No.
According to the story.
no.
My mom sent me this tweet about how fast hippos are, and I was like, yeah, Sharon, I know. Hippos are fast. I'm a hippo minor expert here. They're terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
And then I ended up clicking on the link later, and it was this whole story. It wasn't about how hippos are fast. It was about this woman whose head got bitten off by a hippo, and her husband had to watch it happen. It would have been a very natural way for me to go. Like, I'd be sad, and I think my friends and family would be sad, but they'd be like, this is a full circle moment.
Didn't we learn at the zoo that hippos don't swim? Or is that another zoo?
Hippos swim.
No, they don't.
I mean, they float.
No.
What do they do?
They just walk on the ground underneath the water.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then we fed the hippo.
Well, you tried.
I did feed the hippo.
You tried.
I threw the
You tried.
melon into the hippo's mouth.
After like 5
I
tries.
missed it a few times, but I eventually got to it.
tries.
If at first you don't succeed,
They're
you
on
eventually
foot.
feed the hippo.
I did a
They were on
safari.
foot. I know. That's why I thought you would
did a
feel
safari. We were
some
in the
sort of
car the
way.
whole time, and as we approached the large herbivores, carnivores know what's up. They're like,
Yes.
okay, if they step out of the car, this is food, but in the car, they're nothing.
Right.
To me. And so the lions would just come up and lay down by you. The hyenas just bop about doing their thing.
Yes.
But the herbivores see you as like a threat because everything they see is a threat.
Is a threat.
They're on the plains of Africa. Everything wants to eat them. So when we pulled up on the water buffalo, he was like, everybody be quiet. I got to turn the car off because they hear the
Yes.
humming. They'll think we're being aggressive and they'll come and charge the car. And they eyed us for a little bit. And he's like, I'm uncomfortable. Everybody, let's go. And by everybody, let's go, he meant like, sit back down. We're driving.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, on foot. I would not want to be on the plains of anywhere.
on foot.
On foot.
I'm good.
No.
I saw a video of someone who was hot air ballooning over the safari, and it was beautiful.
Oh, it's
Like in the
gorgeous.
morning, and they were watching the animals underneath, and I was
gorgeous.
like, oh, that is stunning. When we were on our hikes in Chattanooga, which were very fun because they were in the middle of nowhere with no service, but that can also be very daunting. We were like 20 minutes into our first one, which was out at Fall Creek Falls, which is about a 90-minute drive out of Chattanooga. You drive in, didn't pass another car for the entirety of our drive into the park area. And then once we got to the welcome center, I'd say maybe there were like 4 cars, one other human being that we saw along the way. And I make all this like mess of man versus bear. I would of course always rather run into a bear than a man, but then you're in the middle of the woods and there's no one around and you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, what if I actually ran into a bear? And Chris said, should we have brought bear spray? And I said, I don't know. And we kept trying to get service and we eventually got a little bit of service. So Chris used it to Google what to do if you run into a bear because we had forgotten.
Get big.
No, if it's black, fight back.
Yeah.
If it's brown, lay down. And if it's white, you're dead. But you're not going to run into a polar bear in the middle of
polar bears
Tennessee. Polar bear, it's over. Like you shouldn't even try. If it's a black bear, you're supposed to get big. You're supposed to make a ton of noise. And if it's a brown bear, you're supposed to just lay down, and then they should leave you alone because they're not trying to be feisty. It's only if they're provoked and they want your food.
Well, I don't know about that lay down thing with a brown bear, but all right. All right, I don't trust that at all.
Lay down.
That sounds like it was written by a brown bear. I'm be honest. It's like, hey,
who came up with this rhyme?
How can we trick people into just laying down so we can eat them?
Who came up with this rhyme?
Yeah. Also, isn't it crazy? There's nothing you can do for a hippo.
No, you're screwed.
And hippos are herbivores. They don't even eat meat. They just see you and hate you immediately. Yeah. Nothing eats a hippo. They try, but nothing really eats a hippo. No. They're not. There's one pride of lions. I forget where they are. That are specialized hippo hunters, and that is it.
Yeah.
So nothing's going to eat a hippo. Not a lion, not a leopard, not a hyena, not a pack of wild dogs. Nothing eats a hippo. There's no reason for it to be as mean as it is. It sees you and says, oh, you know what? You look me in my eye. F you. You got to go.
Yeah.
And then they just come and try and kill you for no reason. Yeah. Not even to eat you. They just want you dead.
But with a bear, like you can never outrun a bear.
No,
you can never. Rule of thumb, you can't outrun anything.
You're a bobhead.
Yes.
You're not fast enough on 2 legs.
I don't care what you think you are.
You don't have ostrich
You can
legs.
maybe outrun a man. I would like to think that I would get superhuman strength.
You think you can outrun me?
I think I could outrun you.
You could.
I absolutely could outrun you. You never know, though. Like, if there was a man who was trying to get me, I don't know his speed off the top of my head. I'm just like hoping and praying that I'm faster than that person. Perhaps.
Okay.
Sometimes I have this like big intrusive thought when I'm on the bridge running downtown. Like, what if a man popped up and tried to throw me over the bridge? Like, could I run faster than him to get off the bridge into safety?
You're already tired, though.
Exactly. But they say this is like the mom whose baby is trapped under the car and suddenly she gets superhuman strength and is able to lift the car off of the baby. I think I would get that speed if I was being attempted to be thrown over the bridge. That's where my brain goes in the middle of a run. I'm like, oh, what a lovely day. What if somebody came out of nowhere and tried to throw me over the bridge?
Everybody has those intrusive thoughts. I have those thoughts. Where it's like, yo, if somebody jumped out and tried to get me, I'm kind of tired right now. Could I fend them off? This would be the time to stab your boy. Yeah. Right? Like, did y'all come across any wild animals?
No.
Have
it's
you
winter.
ever?
I came across a mountain lion in Colorado.
What?
Yeah. And
when you say came across,
like
where was it?
We were staying in this old cabin, like no electricity, using candles, had to use an outhouse outside. And the parents always told us, like, you cannot go to the bathroom at night. Like, you have to go to the bathroom before the sun goes down, or you have to do it in a pot and then you take it out and throw it out in the morning.
Bucket.
Like, we left, like, we were living the old life. My friend and I were out one day just exploring, and we saw a mountain lion, and it scared the ever-living
in the
hell out of us.
distant.
I think when you're a kid, it feels a lot closer. It was probably very far, but from a childlike eyes, we used to tell people that the mountain lion was just down the hill from us.
So, like, from here to Bill?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's probably a fair.
That's entirely too close for a mountain lion.
It was terrifying.
To be. Yeah.
I saw a bear on a golf course once.
Okay.
I've seen an alligator on a golf course once.
Yeah, that's where they are.
That happens.
Yeah.
Used to see snakes all the time.
Yeah,
Ran over a snake with my bike. That was gross.
Nice.
Have you?
Shelby Farms, actually.
Oh.
Twice. Herds of deer. The
I've seen a lot of deer.
The time that really got me, I was really concerned. The wife and I were off walking a trail in the woods, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, there's a deer." I was like, "Where?" And it's like from me to you. And I'm like, "Hey, stop moving. Look around." And we were surrounded by a herd of
You're like
deer.
that movie.
None of them had antlers. Thankfully, they were all lady deer. And I was looking around trying to find a baby deer to make sure we got the hell away from it. And it was like, hey, we need to move. Let's go.
No, I love standing.
Okay.
Around the deer.
Until one of them decides, hey, you know what? You're a threat. And then what are you going to do?
The biggest
Just catch
threat a
a
deer
ass
can be
whooping.
is if you're in your car. Yes, hitting a deer with your car.
Yeah,
is
hitting a deer with your car
horrifying.
would suck, but having one charge
Not
at
just
you,
suck, you could die.
Oh, you could definitely die if they charge at you also.
I don't know. They're nice.
Oh, okay.
It's
here you
so
go.
cute. Why can't
Here
I
you go.
pet?
That's if we were on the
Have you ever heard of a spirit bear?
Yeah.
Like a white brown bear?
Yeah.
I saw one of those on TikTok. Those are really cool.
What's cool about them? It's a bear, but white.
Yeah, I know, but it's like a brown bear, and then like suddenly it's like I don't know why they call it a spirit bear.
Because it's
unique.
Yeah.
And apparently you have to be open and allowed to see it.
Yeah, Native American lore and
Yeah.
things of that nature.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, the Memphis Tigers, usually we talk with Will Coleman about the Tigers in this segment. Will is off today, but he will be back next week. Did want to mention, obviously, with the loss to Wichita State, they fell in the net. They fell in the AP Top 25. They are now number 22, so they dropped 8 spots from that one loss to Wichita State. And in the latest Jerry Palm bracketology, as we are closer to the end of February than the beginning of February, which means we are close to March, so we can start paying attention to seeding. Jerry Palm has them as, dun dun dun, the dreaded 7 seed. Nobody wants the 7-10 matchup, and according to the latest bracketology, Jerry Palm had Memphis facing Vanderbilt in a Team Tennessee 7 versus 10 matchup. It is a reality check, a sobering reminder. If there was any question of how the AAC schedule can only make Memphis's life worse by operating amongst the landmines, this floor is lava, the AAC is lava, and unfortunately the Grizzlies fell off the couch, not the Grizzlies, the Tigers fell off the couch and touched the ground, and now they have been punished for it perceptively between their AP ranking, their net ranking, and now obviously bracketology is just trying to prognosticate what things will look like, but any hope of them being a 4 seed, gone. I think any hope of them being a 5 seed is more than likely out the window. Your probably best case scenario would be close out with 5 wins in AAC play, win the tournament. Maybe then you could still sneak your way into a 6, maybe sneak your way into a 5, but you are probably looking in that 6, 7, 8 range.
Yeah.
Would you rather be a 7-10 game or an 8-9 game?
Like 7-10, I guess, because I would assume the competition would be slightly less, but not any sort of real meaningful difference. I don't believe in a 7-10 game and a 8-9. It's 1 seed. So if you're the 8, you play the 9. If you're the 7, you play the 10. The difference in 9 and 10 people, 10 minus 1 is 1.
But then I think that the difference between a 5-12, I don't necessarily want to play a 5-12 if you want to take the bright side approach, because more 12 seeds beat 5 seeds than any other lower seed.
At a certain
That's the
point,
math.
You're playing a good team. And it's just when are you going to play them and when will you get exposed by them? So if you're the Tigers and you think you're good, should have no qualms about playing anybody. That should be what you think. You should go in there and say, hey, you know what? We beat a Michigan State team that is near the top of the Big Ten, a top 15 ranked Michigan State team. We beat them. We've beaten the Clemsons of the world. We've beaten the Mississippi States of the world. We've beaten UConn. Right? Like we've played good teams. We played well against good teams. These teams come tournament time will be top 5, 6, 7 seeds.
Yeah.
We've shown we can do that. Let's just go out there and do it again.
Dwayne makes the good point, though. If you're the 8-9, you have to play the number 1 seed.
Oh, and that's...
So imagine if you're in Auburn's bracket. Have fun.
Alabama, Florida, Duke.
Could be tough. I'm just thrilled to find out that ZooBooks is still in existence. Just
Is
in
it?
case anyone was wondering. Yep, ZooBooks still there.
I need to order some.
National Wildlife Federation. Order it now. Who knows who funds that? It could be gone in a jiffy. First they took the park rangers, then they came for ZooBooks.
They took park rangers?
Some.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Wow. The chimpanzee issue is out now. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll do some TV Tuesday. CJ and I both watched SNL 50. Thought it was a grand old time. We'll go through that, plus what we are watching on television this week. That's all when we come back.
Our fans have a huge impact on our ability to play to the level that we're striving for.
Drop off, Durant. Oh! Well, you wanted home crowd involvement.
I love those moments where you see our guys engaging in the fans and the fans just get pumped up.
They are standing in FedEx Forum.
I would hate to be on the other side with the opposition when FedEx Forum's rolling. That's such an unbelievable relationship that our group has with our fans.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
A night of comedy with Sebastian Maniscalco and Jim Gaffigan.
Now, is this a family? Is this your mother? Where is she? Is she in the crowd? You don't know where your mom is. The mom's up there. What kind of family is this? I'm sorry.
Sebastian Maniscalco and Jim Gaffigan.
I went ziplining for the last time.
What is wrong with us? Would you pay $200 to feel like you're about to die 6 times?
Live in Memphis, FedEx Forum, Friday, February 21st. Get tickets now at livenation.com.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
45-minute video on Tony Allen on YouTube.
I just saw it yesterday.
He managed to dominate the NBA for 14 years, despite missing one of basketball's most important skills. But here's the crazy thing.
Why does that hurt your feelings?
It didn't hurt my feelings.
It's
no.
positive.
He at least should have more of my highlights.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
What teams do you think, other than Chiefs and Eagles, are going to be teams to reckon with next season?
I think the Ravens, the 49ers, the Bills, the Lions.
I think the Falcons are going to be good next year.
Well, y'all have had like 4 straight losing record seasons. So.
Yeah, the question is, like, can you just get like 2 guys on defense? Like they scored 38 against the friggin' Panthers and lost the last week of the season. Like, you got to get some stops.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Time for a little TV Tuesday. Before we get into the current shows that we are watching, SNL 50 was over the weekend. Didn't have a time to talk about it yesterday, and CJ hadn't watched it yet. I encouraged him to go back and watch it because at a daunting 3 hours long, perhaps you thought, I don't want to watch 3 hours of SNL 50. But CJ, you said you watched 2 hours and 30 minutes of it. Was it worth going back and watching, in your opinion?
Yes, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good. It's, like you said, it's a proverbial who's who of people in the crowd. I think they invited every celebrity ever made.
Even Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively going through the ringer right now.
Al Sharpton was sitting behind
He
them.
sure was.
So you've got that
Kevin
popping
Costner
off.
was there for some reason.
And Ortega was
Yes.
there in a pretty funny
Meryl Streep did her first ever skit, which is crazy.
Was that her first ever skit?
She's never been on SNL. Meryl
No,
Streep
that
has
can't be
never
true.
hosted
That
and
can't
never
be
been on
true.
SNL until this weekend, where she played Kate McKinnon's mom on the alien abduction skit.
What a great skit also.
I hope she wins an Emmy
What
for
a
playing
great
Kate
skit.
McKinnon's mom. I could not believe it. Meryl Streep has never hosted. Tom Cruise has never hosted.
Really?
Or been a part of SNL in any way, which is just an odd uber celebrity who's never crossed into that space. But I thought Meryl Streep was an odd one because she seems to be really,
I
at
thought
least
she
in
did
this
a
stage of her
monologue
life.
at one point.
No, she's never been on it.
Wow.
Never once. Wow. I thought that was bizarre. The only person who wasn't there, and then we'll get into everyone who was there was no Bill Hader, which made me kind of sad. Apparently he had a scheduling conflict, but I really would have loved to have seen the hottest club in New York City is. He has talked about having a lot of anxiety from his time on SNL, which is funny because maybe one of my favorite sketches was the digital short of the anxiety song, which will now be my theme song for the rest of my life, because if everybody on SNL can admit they had anxiety, I too can admit that I deal with crippling anxiety. But no Bill Hader. So he was one of the ones left out. But it was fun to see just the cycling through of old sketches mixed with like new parts to those, the nostalgia. Bringing back Sweater Weather was one. Did you get to the end?
No.
Okay. Did you see Sweater Weather?
No.
It's the oh God, why can't I think of her name? Maya Rudolph and who's the other one with her on it? It's Maya Rudolph and Amy Poehler.
Okay.
And they're like Brooklyn ladies.
Oh, wait,
like,
yeah. And they're doing the interview.
They're the Bronx
Yeah.
Beat, and they're doing the interview, and like Michael Myers was on it, but they're always like Swarawala.
Yeah, I
and
saw
I
that.
quote that all the time. There were so many things that popped up throughout SNL that I was like, oh, I forgot about this sketch. Even starting with the Lawrence Welk one, which once you've seen it once with Kristen Wiig doing the tiny hands, you could say it gets old. I laugh every time. I will never not laugh.
I hadn't seen that skit until you were doing you things.
I brought a dead cat on the side of the road.
You were doing stuff like that one day, just for no damn reason, people. She was just doing that. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, oh, you hadn't seen that skit, and you sent it to me. So when we sit down and we're watching it,
myself.
and I'm like, okay, this is one for Jessica specifically. Like SNL.
It's okay, no, but what I realized, I don't think it's that funny anymore. But what it takes me back to, and I feel like there's been a lot of emphasis on nostalgia, even the conversation around NBA All-Star. Do we really just hate NBA All-Star, or do we hate that it doesn't hit with the nostalgia of what we appreciated about NBA All-Star when we were younger? Like that sketch, I can remember exactly where I was the first time I saw it, and it was with 4 of my best friends, and we were up late on the night before the Race for the Cure, which we all volunteered at from my mom every year in Denver, and we were up watching Saturday Night Live, and we laughed so hard we cried as a group. And so like I texted my friends, and I was like, look who came back on SNL 50, and it was a fun, like, throughway reminder of when we used to laugh together as friends in high school. And now, is it as funny as it once was? Maybe not. And that's how not all, but some of those sketches are going to be through the test of time. Then there's some that just continue to make you laugh. I thought Weekend Update was great.
Yeah.
Bill Murray popping up on Weekend Update was great. Black Jeopardy with Eddie Murphy, like, actually doing an impersonation of Tracy Morgan next to him. The Tom Hanks piece of it ended up being a big piece of news because he returned, and if you remember the first time around on Black Jeopardy, it was really funny. I thought it fell flat this time because it was so cool to see Eddie Murphy impersonating Tracy Morgan next to him. Like, I didn't think you needed that amendum on it because the piece of it that was so funny was Eddie Murphy being there.
Yeah, at times you can step on the funny thing in the sketch by doing a bit too much. And listen, that comes with doing these sketch comedies, with doing these types of skits. I thought that Eddie Murphy on Black Jeopardy was great. When we saw Leslie pop up on screen, my wife and I both pointed like, there she is, there she is. Really excited about that. Thought that sketch was good. And I think SNL did a good job balancing itself. Balancing past with current, balancing nostalgia for, hey, this is where we are right now. It wasn't just so many times. My fear was, as it pertains to that, they lean on the nostalgia just for the sake of nostalgia.
Yes.
You know, and they hit you with the nostalgia. Weekend Update, Seth Meyers came back.
Cecily Strong came back.
They came back, and it was Weekend Update today with them doing it. And they threw in their bit of flavor and pizzazz that they had, but it wasn't like they were going back to yesteryear to try and crack those types of jokes. And it didn't feel like SNL was leaning on yesteryear to crack the jokes. It was, hey, here we are from the past. We, the people who sort of came up, found our voice, found our footing, and had our careers catapulted forward by SNL. Here we are. Here I am, Tina Fey, Amy Poehler, and let's crack some jokes about what's going on right now today. That's how you get the super funny Ryan Reynolds moment. It was funny. You laughed.
It was.
It was funny.
It was.
And that's how
it was well calculated.
Quinta Brunson as well popping up on there.
Keith Richards
also.
was there.
Keith Richards.
Cher.
Like all that's how you get these
Zach
funny.
Galifianakis was the funniest part of that.
I think Reynolds was, but okay they were both funny. Everything about it was funny. But that's how you get it. Yeah. Where it is, hey, I'm a star now. Let me do some of the things that I did on SNL, but let me do it today.
The funniest was actually Julia Louis-Dreyfus with the dog.
Oh, with the dog. Oh, yeah.
And with my guy.
Was it Bad Bunny beside her?
No, it wasn't Bad Bunny. It's Adam Adam
Driver. Driver
It's the
was
picture
there.
I used for our show today.
Oh, really?
Adam Driver and the little golden retriever right next to it. Amy and Tina are so good at that. Like, that's a really tough thing to do because you're riffing. You have your set points. You know who you're going to in the audience, but then you have to riff off everything and move their way through. I think they're so funny. Will Ferrell's a crazy person, but he always makes me laugh because he's always willing to do the absurd and everything. Adam Sandler's song was really poignant.
Oh, I don't know how you finished that song.
I don't
without
either.
crying.
And
I didn't.
I think he got a standing ovation from the crowd too, which is
well
special.
he should have.
His love and appreciation for Chris Farley, continuing onward and onward, like is such a true representation of friendship, and always making sure to go out of the way to, like, just appropriately tribute someone who is so important to you, so important to this particular piece of entertainment in SNL, and all of the people lost along the way, like Gilda Radner, they were holding up a picture of her at the end, which was just a nice, poignant piece of it.
Norm,
I know. And now you get to the point, I mean, that's how, as this continues to go. And I don't know how much longer we'll have with SNL. I don't think we'll necessarily have an SNL 100 someday. I don't even know if we'll get to an SNL 60 at this point. And
I would think it's just. I think it's now. It's just here.
Well, but Lorne Michaels always said that he was going to retire after SNL 50. I don't necessarily think he's ready to do that yet. He seems to be of the long laundry list of men in powerful positions who want to hold on for dear life and refuse to let go. But whoever could potentially take over him after, I think it'll continue to exist for some time. I don't know. It did strike me how much they did rest on a lot of the nostalgia. There weren't as many recent sketches. Like, even from the standpoint of the John Mulaney musical numbers goes back a while, and they did the history of New York. And I thought Scarlett Johansson had one of the cameos of the night, singing about e-bikes as Suddenly Seymour from Little Shop of Horrors. And big win for Scarlett Johansson. If you know the history between her and Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, there's a lot to unpack in that moment, but I thought it was a win for Scarlett Johansson. But that and other newer ones, like the Domingo sketch has become a thing, having Sabrina Carpenter. She was a big piece of it, between her opening with Paul Simon and then popping up in that Domingo sketch. But there wasn't a heavy focus on current cast members, you know? And I don't mean from a heavy focus, but just from a looking forward standpoint.
What sketch stands out to you?
None. We don't have sketches that run.
Yeah.
There used to be way more recurring sketches, and nowadays it feels more from a one-off. You're gonna watch this as a clip. I don't know if it's clip culture. That's just where my brain went with it.
I don't know. I don't think it is clip culture. I think SNL has moved on from recurring sketches. I think that outside of Domingo, even on, I guess Domingo right now is a recurring sketch, which you'll see 2, maybe 3 times a season. And then when the chick gets on with Colin on Weekend Update,
Jay and Wicklund, and
says ridiculous things about Colin doing things to her, right? Like that's something that is a bit recurring. The recurring,
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the recurring bits seem almost to be maybe almost only on Weekend Update right now.
Yes.
Because all of the recurring ones I can think of are characters who come back on Weekend
Which
Update.
I don't consider I mean, I guess technically it's a recurring character, but not a recurring sketch.
Right. So
we haven't had a Californians in a long time.
No, Coneheads.
Yeah.
No, Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood.
The
right?
cheerleaders.
You're not getting recurring sketches. So there's nothing for them to do to highlight outside of Domingo to highlight current cast members outside of just having them in these sketches. Right. And they were in sketches. They were in skits.
What's the name of the guy who's in the Domingo?
I don't know.
I mean,
I'm
not
bad with SNL.
Marcelo Hernandez. I just meant from a standpoint of someone who I think they continue to highlight because they think they have gold with him specifically. You see a lot more of him than other current cast members, and him in that sketch with Pedro Pascal and Bad Bunny was perfect. I very much enjoyed that. I did like the in memoriam for the canceled bits along the way. I thought that was very funny and well done.
They did good bits. That was good. The slapstick one was good also. The commercials, all of those were great. Superb.
I had totally forgot of, was it Oops, I Crapped My Pants?
Oh, yeah.
As that old commercial. I forgot about how many poop commercials they had. But no, I thought specifically on going back to the things that didn't age well, like comedy evolves. And I think it's important to point out, hey, we did this, woo, yikes, can't believe we actually did this, but it flew for the time that it was in, and you laughed at it, and now you're in a position where you can cringe and be like, I can't believe that actually passed. But if you get ahead of it, then it doesn't allow for others to poke away at that.
Don't hide it.
Yeah.
Don't fight against it. Own it.
Yes.
And I thought they did a good job of owning everything that came with SNL.
Yeah, the good, the bad.
And it's
not
just,
everything's gonna hit.
Hey, we basically forced Norm Macdonald to quit.
And he's one of the funniest people to ever walk this earth.
And everybody, my wife is sitting next to me like, hey, what? They really fired him for an OJ joke? I was like, well, no, they fired the writer.
Yes.
He found out, and then he just stopped showing up.
There were so many OJ jokes last night.
As well there should
on Saturday or Sunday night.
As well they should.
Yes.
There should be.
Two murderers had been on the show.
Who's the other murderer?
Robert Blake.
Who's he?
He killed his wife.
Okay, who is
He's an
he?
old actor.
Okay.
It was a big deal. I remember I watched an E! True Hollywood story on it.
Okay.
Hazy on the details. And then they showed Diddy had been on it, so there were those jokes as well. Anyway, all in all, had a very enjoyable time.
It was good.
And I wish that every weekend was SNL 50 because everyone watched it. It was a very watched, not, of course, everyone is hyperbolic in this world, but it was
Super Bowl, but it was 14
incredibly
mil,
watched.
15
I think
mil.
SNL continues to be the most watched non-sporting event on cable television, if I'm correct.
Maybe.
But
Two things that everybody should watch. Like, okay, you're not going to sit down for the 3 hours. Just watch this thing because it's really, really funny, and watch this thing because it's
probably
really,
the
really
Adam Sandler song
funny. Okay.
and Weekend Update.
Okay.
How about you?
Tina Fey and Amy Poehler. And I would also say the Adam Sandler song, but since you already said it, give somebody so they watch 4 things. I would go, so Tina Fey, Amy Poehler bit, and I'll go the Kate McKinnon. I love Kate McKinnon.
So do I.
She's incredible. Coming back as
one of
that.
the funniest people.
So,
her and Kristen Wiig are just so funny.
So funny. Do you want to draft SNL members? All right.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah, let's draft.
That's timely.
Let's draft SNL members.
Beautiful. Did one final thing that I just forgot about. Aubrey Plaza showed up when you talk about everybody was there. And Aubrey Plaza hasn't been in public since her husband passed away last month. And it was a tragic situation where he took his own life. And she wore a tie-dye t-shirt, and people have said that that's because her husband loved to tie-dye clothing during the pandemic. And so that was her nod to her husband. And Aubrey Plaza, once upon a time, was a NBC Page, which is the program that's depicted in 30 Rock with Kenneth the Page. Basically, it's a hyper intensive intern program through NBC Universal, and Aubrey Plaza was an SNL page specifically, and so she came back and she introduced Miley Cyrus and Brittany Howard for their musical performance along the way. But it was just sad
Wayne's
to see
musical
her.
Performance was good.
It was fun to see Wayne. That was like a fun little surprise.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I don't know him like that. First off, hope Aubrey Plaza is doing all right. Glad to see her. Because I'm assuming in seeing her, she's doing well enough to do that. It's hard losing loved ones.
Yes.
Second, on a less serious note, I think Lil Wayne wanted to show he could do a live show.
What he wanted to do.
I don't know him at all. Hadn't talked to him about it. And I got to go here. I got a meeting in 5 minutes.
Oh, shoot.
But I really do think he wanted to show, hey, look, check me out. I can perform live. You effers left me out of the Super Bowl, and now I'm angry about it. And I thought it was a great performance with he and The Root. He did a medley of songs. It was some good stuff.
Okay, White Lotus is back.
How is
Other
it?
than the Duke kid, it's so good. The way that show can hook you on characters in one episode, I am emotionally invested in every single person currently staying at the White Lotus. And it was episode 1. My biggest critique is that they don't release 2 episodes to start the season, because I would have so easily stayed up past my bedtime to go 1 into 2. It is an interesting theme, as it always is. Rich people on yet another vacation, but this time they're in Thailand. And between the family from North Carolina, the character played by Walter Goggins is like some old, obviously he has some stuff going on. He has a younger girlfriend. There's a group of friends that I find as the most interesting, perhaps. It's like 3 older women. One is a famous actress. One is Leslie, played by Leslie Bibb, and she seems really successful. And then the third friend, there's some energy there early where I'm like, I need to know your story. I need to know why you feel like the odd man out in your 3-woman friend group. But fantastic job. Natasha Rothwell is back from season 1, and I find her just to be a very amazing actress right now. Usually she's a great comedic actress, but in this role, she just kind of holds a space that ties it back to the beginning. Natasha Rothwell.
This is a third one?
This is the third.
Okay.
They have been to Hawaii, they've been to Italy, and they're now in Thailand.
Are they connected in any sort of way, or are these
They're just all at the White Lotus Resort.
Okay.
And there's like one, like you could watch season 3 of White Lotus, I think, without ever having watched the others. Now, like Natasha Rothwell's character is back, but you don't really need to know her backstory. And then one character does pop up, no spoilers, but someone pops up from previous season, and we don't yet know if it's just like a fun little cameo or if he's going to be involved in the storyline. But for the most part, you don't need anything with that.
This is a murder mystery? What is this?
Yes.
Okay.
You start with, it starts at the end, and then it goes 1 week before. So you're all leading up to this big event that happens in the first 5 minutes of the show.
Gotcha.
That is like action-packed, but you don't know how you get to that. So then you get these, you have the kind of scene setter of where you're eventually going to get to, and then the next thing you see is all the people who are going to stay at this resort, who you're going to be focused on through the show. They all come via boat. There's some like survivor imagery that people pull from. Some people think it's colonialism of rich, primarily white people on a boat coming over to this resort in a land where they kind of just take over and don't really have the care factor. It's just they want to be at a nice fancy resort, drinking drinks, being taken care of and whatnot. But the cinematography on the show is beautiful, music continues to be beautiful, and the acting is superb. So I continue to love White Lotus. You have a meeting in 2 minutes. I cannot let a week go by without you knowing the latest on The Pit.
Oh, gosh.
I'll be fast.
Take your
We're
time.
at 1 p.m.
We're at a minute and a half.
We are at 1 p.m.
1 p.m.
We have an influencer who might be suffering a psychotic break, or there might be something in her makeup that's causing her to go crazy.
Okay.
We had a solution on the abortion situation.
At what time did that start?
Yeah, we started in the morning at 7 a.m.
What so the abortion thing popped off at 7? Or
No,
did it
I think
pop
that
off
came
at
up maybe
8
at
or
like 9, but it was a holdover from the day before, actually. It was a case that was left for the doctor from the overnight shift.
So it only took 4 hours to solve it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Had a miscarriage.
What time did that start?
Well, I don't know, we knew she was pregnant.
Okay.
We have a patient on the spectrum. Really nice portrayal of how doctors could do a better job of understanding people with different neurological abilities. We had a heart attack saved by a real fancy machine. We had elder abuse. And we have an absurd storyline of one of the residents trying to solve a child abuse case where the mom was giving the dad progesterone to like throw him off his game so he couldn't get it up because she thinks that he's abusing their daughter. Oh yeah.
What?
Oh yeah. Welcome to the pit.
Hey.
Dr. Robbie's here.
Also, have we gotten the school shooter yet? Like,
School shooter
all
has
I want
not
is for
come
them
back.
to get that guy.
School shooter has not been in the building, but you know he's coming.
He's out there.
School shooter and fentanyl have to come back. The kid who died of fentanyl, his parents are still, like, they're not ready to give his organs yet. Yeah, they're still there.
Okay.
They're taking their sweet time. I mean, understandably so. Their only child died of an accidental fentanyl
you say they're
overdose.
taking their sweet time, and it's
I don't know
only
why
been
we call
like,
it an accidental fentanyl overdose
like 2
either.
hours.
Like, of course it's accidental. It's a tragic time. Just another hour in the pit.
Goodness gracious.
I'm a doctor now.
So wait, how'd they find out about? Well, don't spoil it. But she's
There's no spoilers on this show, CJ. It just goes.
Instead of just giving, I got like 40 seconds here.
Okay.
Instead of
Give it
just
to me.
leaving the dude and protecting the daughter and pulling her out, she's like, no, let me drug this man so he doesn't.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to the mom who like drugged herself to get them in the hospital so she would try to help her son, who's gonna be the school shooter.
Didn't he already shoot the school?
No, he just
Okay,
has a list of women he has a problem with.
Women. I forgot it was women.
He's an incel.
I forgot it was women.
All right, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. It'll be a fun one. D'Angelo Williams will join us. We'll make it through the week. I won't say it yet, but I'll say it tomorrow. We'll see you then. Bye.
I will mute you before you say it tomorrow.